Alright, we're gonna do things from this weird angle today because it's easiest for me. So hello people from other channel. My name is Demian. I am one of the admins from Pride Power. So yeah. Nice to meet you all. I'm a little all over the place generally, and I'm very stressed at the moment because university is stressful. So that makes me a little more all over the place. Um, I want to talk briefly, I guess, about representation because I just watched a great documentary about representation. Um, it was about the representation of women, which is not like strictly LGBT, but representation I think applies very intensely to all marginalized people because it's really, really, really important. Um, so let's talk about representation briefly. Growing up, I had no representation of LGBT people, I don't think. Not really, like in my media. I read a lot of old books. And by old books, I mean like British literature. So things like Jane Austen and Charles Dickens and J.M. Barrie and all those things like Alice in Wonderland, Peter Pan, all those kind of things. I came from a household that didn't really do TV or movies, so my media was predominantly books, and it was predominantly old books because that's what I liked. Um, but as one can imagine, old literature is not like filled with LGBT characters. It's filled with straight white characters, which is obviously a pretty narrow field of representation. Um, Nevertheless, I think that media was really influential and good for me, but not in good for me in terms of just like representation of minority communities or kind of diversity. So I didn't really have a lot of representation of LGBT people growing up because that was my main media, and then any other media that I would have taken in was not particularly diverse. So I didn't have a lot of diverse representation in my media growing up. And then when I was kind of a teenager and started questioning my sexuality, I started looking for characters that I could see kind of all of myself in the media, and it was hard. It was really, really hard, and it was hard to find like characters that I liked. So you end up kind of settling for characters that you don't necessarily identify with that strongly, but they're gay, so it's, a huge thing. And that's really like unfortunate and irritating and hard. And it was like they were always like the side characters, or like the they were never the main characters, and they were never particularly like me, and so it was really irritating and just not like fun. But it is getting better. Um, Now I would say, what would I say are like my top representations of LGBT things currently? I would say that my top representations for LGBT characters right now, my top one is definitely Steven Universe currently. I am a big, big lover of animated things. So Steven Universe is a great representation for me, even though it's a kids show, but it's awesome. And I can only imagine what having a show like that in my life would have done in terms of just like changing my life when I was younger, like how less scared I would have been. And that would have been amazing. So I'm so glad that that show is like around because it's incredible. And then, yeah, books like Valor, which I mentioned in my last Pride Power video, things like that. It's still hard. It's still really hard to find good representation because it's hard to find representation at all. So I think my biggest thing is I think it's super super wonderful that people are creating more of their own media, like younger people and marginalized people, and that the internet makes that media super accessible. So if you have any awesome LGBT media that you want to share, leave it. And I would just like to encourage everyone hugely that if you are a creator of any kind of media, whether that's music or movies or books or whatever, create the media you want to see. Create the media you're not finding. Make it yourself, because I can guarantee you that there are people out there that are looking for it. So make it for them. Make it for them and make it for yourself. That's what I had to do. And it kind of sucks, but if you see a space, fill it.